Hi, everybody, and happy Friday. Thank you for joining me for Sunshine Storytime with Miss Lynn. I am Miss Lynn, and I'm so thankful that you have joined me today. Let's get started. We have two adventures today, all right? Let's go. Story time, story time. Are you ready for story time? Let's take an adventure, let's take a trip. Let's grab a book and zippity zip. Let's take an adventure, let's take a trip during our story time. That's right. Our story time today is our If I Ran adventures. So today we're kind of talking about what things would be like if you ran something. Like if I ran a parade, what would my parade look like? Ooh, would there be lots of balloons? Would there be lots of costumes? What would your parade be like? Or if you ran a restaurant, what would your restaurant be like? What kind of food would you have? What would it look like inside? Would it be all bubbly and cotton candy like, or something else? Well, today, two places we're going to go, and the title of the book, If I Ran. The first one is If I Ran the Circus. That's why I have my hat on. I'm ready for the circus. All right, and this is by Dr. Seuss. If I Ran the Circus, what would it be like? Would it be different? If you ran a circus, would it be different than a circus that you have been to? How would you change it? How would you make it different? What would you do? Oh, the things that we can think, the things that we can do if we just take a minute and try. If I ran the circus, I just dropped the book. That's okay. If I ran the circus, in the whole town, the most wonderful spot is behind Sneelock's store in the big vacant lot. It's just the right spot for my wonderful plans, said young Morris McGurk, if I clean up the cans. Whoa, work to be done first. Yeah, before he can start his plans, work must be done. Now, a fellow like me, said young Morris McGurk, could get rid of this junk with a half hour's work. I could yank up those weeds and chop down the dead tree and haul off those old cars. There are just 2 or 3. And then the whole place would be ready, you see. Okay, so he knows what he has to do. All ready to put up the tents for my circus. I think I will call it the Circus McGurkus. The Circus McGurkus, the world's greatest show on the face of the earth or wherever you go. Ah, Circus McGurkus. What would the name of your circus be if you ran a circus? The Circus McGurkus, the cream of the cream. The Circus McGurkus, the circus supreme. The Circus McGurkus, colossal, stupendous, astounding, fantastic, terrific, tremendous. I'll bring in my acrobats, jugglers, and clowns from 1,033 faraway towns to the place that you'll see them in, ladies and gents, right behind Sneelock's store in the great McGurk tents. And I don't suppose old Mr. Sneelock will mind when he suddenly has a big circus behind. Oh, look, all of those plans. All of the animals. Yeah, that's kind of the best part of a circus, right? After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends. He might even help out doing small odds and ends. Doing little odd jobs he could be of some aid, such as selling balloons and the pink lemonade. I think 500 gallons will be about right, and then I'll be ready for opening night. All the lemonade. Woo, the balloons. circuses are fun. What an opening night! What a night! What a sight! I'll hoist up the curtains, the crowds will crowd in, and my Circus McGurkus will promptly begin. With a welcoming toot on my welcoming horn, by my horn-tooting apes from the jungles of Jorn, where the very best horn-tooting apes are all born, because the very fresh air there is fine for their lungs, and some of those fellows have 2 or 3 tongues. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. This way. Step right in. This way, ladies and gents. My sideshow starts here in the first of my tents. When you see what goes on, you'll say no other circus is half the great circus the Circus McGurkus is. Here on stage 1 from the ocean of Ulf is a sight most amazing, a walrus named Rolf, who can stand on 1 whisker. This wonderful Rolf, on the top of 5 balls, 2 for tennis, 3 golf. It's a marvelous trick, if I say so myself. Wow, look at him. Look at him. 1 whisker on those balls. Wow. And on stage number 2, here is something quite new. From a country called From comes this drum-tummied snum who can drum any tune that you might care to hum. Doesn't hurt him a bit because his drum tummy's numb. Can you drum your tummy like that? And you'll now meet the Foon, the remarkable Foon, who eats sizzling hot pebbles that fall off the moon. And the reason he likes them red hot, it appears, is he greatly enjoys blowing smoke from his ears. Of course, pebbles like this are quite hard to collect, but Sneelock will manage somehow, I expect. After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends, and I'm sure he'll help out doing small odds and ends. Oh, that smoke. Can you blow smoke from your ears? I can't either. And on stage number 4, see the Wally Waloo, who can throw his long tail as a sort of lasso. With a flip of the hip with a tail of this kind, he can capture whoever is standing behind. He can capture old Sneelock. I'm sure he won't mind. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I wouldn't mind? I wouldn't want to be caught by a lasso or a lasso. And now here is a hoodwink who winks in his wink hood. Without a good wink hood, a hoodwink can't wink good. And folks, let me tell you, there's only one circus with wink hooded hoodwinks, the Circus McGurkus. Look, he's winking at you. He's winking at you. Can you wink? Let's try. Ready? I'm not a good winker. I'm not a good winker. I try. Oh, I can't turn the page either. Oh, goodness, it's stuck. There we go. The show of all shows. There's no other showman who shows you a show with a blindfolded bowman. The blindfolded bowman from Brigger Barut, the world's sharpest sharpshooter. Look at him shoot through the holes in 4 donuts, 2 hairs on a worm, and the knees of 3 birds without making them squirm. And then on through a crab apple up on the head of Sneelock, who likes to help out, as I've said. Well, it looks like poor Mr. Sneelock, look at all of that. It looks like he's getting the raw end of a deal. Would you want to be lassoed, and would you want to have that coming at you? Not me. And now come to this spot where the spotlight is hot, and you'll see in the spotlight a juggling jot who can juggle some stuff you might think he could not, such as 22 question marks, which is a lot. Also 44 commas, and also 1 dot. That's the kind of a circus McGurkus I've got. Oh my goodness, look at all those question marks. Look. But that's just my sideshow. A start, a beginning. This way to the big tent, you'll find your head spinning. Why, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters, your heads will quite likely spin right off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get into your seats in my tent of all tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. Oh, how can it get bigger than that? You'll see Drum Major Sneelock fling his baton, and my organ McGorkin McGurkus come on with its hot steaming pipes of gold brass-plated tin, snorting all sorts of snorts in a bumbling din. That is super stupendous, stupendous, sturorous, and when I play Dixie, please join in the chorus. Wow. Can you play an instrument like that? I sure can't. Then a fluff muffled truffle will ride on a huffle, and next in the line, a fine flummox will shuffle. The flummox will carry a lurch and a pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail. While on top of the flummox, 3 harp twanging snarp will twang mighty twangs on their 3 snarper harp. While a bolster blows bloops on a 3-nozzled blueser, a nulster blows floops on a 1-nozzled noozer. And then, all of that was just a mouthful. Whew! And then comes a lion who's partly a trout, then more stuff for 45 minutes about. I love the words that Dr. Seuss uses. I love them. I love Dr. Seuss. And then, behind them, while everyone stares, come my to and fro marchers who march in 5 layers. The fros march on twos and the twos march on fros. Don't know how they do it, but that's how it goes. Ooh. And now comes an act of enormous. No former performers performed this performance. This stunt is too grippingly, slippingly frightening. Down from the top of my tent like greased lightning, through pots full of lots of big stickle bush trees, slides a man. What a man on his roller skate skis. And he'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Sneelock, the man who takes chance after chance, and he won't even rip a small hole in his pants. There he is. There's Sneelock. And now here, in this cage, is a beast most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious, who growls, howls, and yowls the most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds. And he chews up and eats with the greatest of ease things like carpets and sidewalks and people and trees. But the great Colonel Sneelock is just the right kind of a man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Oh, ferocious. Well, it's kind of ferocious. Just a little bit. Then I'll let Sneelock off for a few minutes rest, while high over your heads you will see the best of the world's finest, fanciest, breezy trapezing, my Zuma Zoop troop from West Upper Bendeezing, who never quite know while they zoop and they zoom whether which will catch what one or who will catch whom, or if who will catch which by the what and just where, or just when and just how and which part of the air. I like this part of the circus too, where you see all of them jumping and flying in the air. Isn't that fun? It's a little scary, but it's fun too. What a circus! My circus, McGurkus. My workers love work. They say, work us, please work us. We'll work and we'll work up so many surprises you'd never see half of it. Half if you had 40 eyes. How many eyes do you have? I have 2. You have two eyes. And now, again, Sneelock. Brave Sneelock is back, risking life on my patented life-risking track, while the speedsters I call my colliding collusions race round in swift cars called abrasion contusions. And Sneelock just lies there, not one bit excited. I know he won't mind. He'll be simply delighted. He's laying on the track. Look at Mr. Sneelock. He's just laying right there. Are they going to run over him? I don't know. And here, in a contest of brute strength and muscle, Kid Sneelock, my champ of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly and slap him around. Then he'll slam him down fastly and pin both his shoulders tight flat to the mat. Kid Sneelock will love it. I'm sure about that. And while that goes on there, look at this go on here. Have you heard of my herd of through horns jumping deer? Every deer jumps through horns of another pell-mell, while his horns are jumped through at the same time as well. By a deer whose horns also are being jumped through by another who's having his horns jumped through too, which I'm sure trainer Sneelock can train them to do. Woo! Training them to jump, 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 jump. Then the whole tent will ring with hoorays and wild shouts when I wheel in my whales and they turn on their spouts. First, my whale number 1, with an aim that aims true, spouts a spout that spouts Sneelock to whale number 2. And then whale number 2 spouts his spout like a gun, and that spout spouts old Sneelock right back to whale 1. And then forwards and backwards on spout after spout, my great spout rider Sneelock gets spouted about, just as long as the water they're spouting holds out. Wouldn't that be fun? Would you like to be Sneelock and go from one spout of water to another and back and forth? Then my tournament knights, noble apes without fears, Sir Hector, Sir Vector, Sir Bops, and Sir Beers, Sir Hawkins, Sir Dawkins, Sir Jawks, and Sir Jeers, clatter into the tent while everyone cheers, stage a roustabout joust with their boxing glove spears. Oh my. And while all this wild ruckusing goes on below, at the top of the tent, look, the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock, the world's bravest type. He comes pulled through the air by 3 Subrian snipe on a dingus contraption attached to his pipe. And while people below are all turning chalk white and all biting their fingernails off in their fright, great Sneelock soars up to a terrible height. Ooh, he's going so high, so high, so high. So high. Then he shakes himself loose. He starts down in a dive, such as no man on earth could come out of alive. But he smiles as he falls, and no fear does he feel. His nerves are like iron, his muscles like steel. And he plunges down, down, with his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. Wow, look at him diving. Then he'll land in a fishbowl. A fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask how he'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Sometimes these books tickle me. Why, He'll be a hero. Of course, he won't mind when he finds that he has a big circus behind. So, if you ran the circus, would your circus be anything like that? I don't know that I could think up all of those kinds of things. Hmm. Those are outrageous. Those are really great ideas for a circus, don't you think? All right, we have one more adventure for today, and this one is also by Dr. Seuss. It is, I'm sorry, it's by The Cat in the Hat with a little help from Alistair Helm. It's illustrated by Tom Brandon. It is If I Ran Your School. Maybe I need the Cat in the Hat to come to my school. What you think? Yeah? And see what that would be like. If I ran your school. I just heard a thing, so I came right away. The king of all unfunny things, I must say. Uh-oh. Unfunny things? Well, we just went from funny to unfunny? I heard that you two, or perhaps maybe you, think going to school is a dull thing to do. I came here to show you that school can be fun. I showed up to show you how school fun is done. Uh-oh. School fun? Let's see what he has in mind. If I ran your school, we would start every day in a pledgefully way as we stand up and say, today I will learn how much fun can be from 8 after 8 until 3 after 3. I will smile all the while with a grin on my chin till the end of the day from the time we begin. Oh, I like that. We're going to smile all day long. If I ran your school, we would get a class pet, but not just one pet, all the pets we can get. Some would be fuzzy and some would be wet, and others would come as a 2-for-1 set. So far, pets in my school, my classroom. Woo. If I ran your school, I would help you to read by giving each student a book-blooming seed. Each seed would be planted and grown in a pot, and after we water a lot, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? The seeds would sprout books that would fill up the room. The more that you read them, the more you would bloom. I love it. I want a tree like that. Yeah. If I ran your school, I would give a pop quiz where we take and we shake every bottle there is until they explode into fountains of fizz. And if you can guess how much fizz that there is, it truly would make you a pop fizz quiz whiz. I could see that not going well. If I ran your school on the days you have art, I would drive all around in my art-making cart. My cart to make art would have glitter and glue and lots of fun things that are perfect for you. That sounds like fun. I love glitter until I have to clean it up. At 12 after 12, we would serve a buffet of pizzas and pancakes and tray after tray of berries and cherries and swirly sorbet to keep you well fed for the rest of the day. Love it. You can have pancakes all day long and pizza all day long. If I ran your school, we would cover your sneakers in double bounce bubbles we brew in these beakers to give your old sneakers a little more pep. And put a new science-y spring in your step. Now, it would be fun to bounce all day long. Maybe. Bounce, bounce, bounce. It would be fun to bounce all day long. If I ran your school, we would play a fun song while I waved this wood wand and you all played along. I love it. Music, music, music. I love it. The drummers and fluters and tuba tutors and all of the players with sliding trombones and 3-nozzled bluesers and saxophones would take their tune makers and turn them around and play them all backward. Just think of the sound. I think I might have a headache from thinking of the sound. If I ran your school, we would have smell and tell, where you bring in a thing and that thing has a smell. We would smell that thing well as you stand up and tell how the thing that you bring got its good or bad smell. Maybe have a guess that smell, where you hide something in a bag and then we have to decide what it is that is in the bag based on the smell. If I ran your school, I would sit in the bleachers and cheer you all on, right along with your teachers, through round after round after round after round of schoola hoop hoopla to see who gets crowned. Who gets crowned what? Who gets crowned as the hoopla hoop queen and the hoopla hoop king, the new queen and king of all school of hooping. If I ran your school at your very last class, you all would be getting a Go Wild pass. Your classes are over, your school day is done, and now it is time for some fun in the sun. I can go for that. Fun in the sun. Then all of my little cat crew would be there to welcome you all to their little cat fair. The games and the rides and the loop slides and the extra fun prizes that come in all sizes should keep you all smiling the whole school year through. If I ran your school, that is what I would do. Then tip my top hat and say farewell to you. There may be more schools that will need me, you see, to show them how fun that their school can be. Do you think your school needs a visit from me? I think it would be fun, whether we needed it or not. I think it would be fun to have Cat in the Hat join us. What do you think? You agree? All right. Thank you for joining me today. I've had such a great time. Those were two great books, two great adventures. Join me. Let's see. Wednesday for Bible adventures, and then next Friday for more adventures. And you'll have to wait and see what happens, because I'm not sure what the adventures are going to be, but it will be fun. I promise you that. I promise you that. All right. Same time, same place, different hat. Story time, story time. We're all done with story time. We took an adventure, we took a trip. We grabbed a book, we zippity zipped. We took an adventure, we took a trip. During our story time. And I'm so glad that you joined me. I'm so glad you came. Stop back by again. Until then, bye, friends.